What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here, and a little bit ago I did ask you guys, what do you want to see in Apple's iOS 9 upcoming firmware? Now, we're a good half a year away from it, however it is good to speculate about things that we want to see in Apple's upcoming firmware. So out of all the answers, I chose 20, and here are the top 20 things we want to see in iOS 9. Now, not all of these are guaranteed to make it. Apple's never really been about listening to its customers. It's been about making its own way and then having everyone adjust to it. Now, it's no secret that in the past, Apple has taken a whole bunch of features first found in jailbreaking and implemented them into iOS. For example, folders, multitasking, even wallpapers on the lock screen and home screen. Now, I'm not saying they took those specifically from jailbreaking, but those were found in jailbreaking before they made their way into official iOS. Also, volume button shutter for the camera, Bluetooth file transfer, which made its way into AirDrop, wireless syncing, video mirroring, copy and paste, even video recording. Now, obviously, Apple didn't take that from jailbreaking, but it was in jailbreaking before, and in the future, I want to watch this video. I want to be like, out of all these things, what did Apple take and put into iOS 9? So without any further ado, here's the top 20 features we want to see in iOS 9. Now, the really cool thing is that most of these features I'm going to be showing you right now that we want to see in iOS 9 are currently available right now on a jailbroken iOS 8 device. That's just pretty crazy, and I won't be surprised if so many of these make their way into iOS 9. That's why I want to go back and watch it, but the very first thing I want to see on iOS 9 is split screen multitasking. Apple's got a whole bunch of larger devices. It makes sense. Make use of that larger display like Android has for the longest time already with their Note series and even the smaller devices, split screen multitasking. There's a jailbreak tweak that allows you to do that right now. I mean, you can be watching a video up top and you can be browsing, doing your stuff down below, and it's really quite incredible. So my number one suggestion for iOS 9 is split screen multitasking. It makes sense, especially on the larger iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Next is user profiles or a guest account in iOS 9. Now, say you want to share your device, but you don't want everybody to see all of your private data. You just want to let them make a phone call or make a message. You can do that with guest accounts currently right now on a jailbroken device. And I think it's definitely a smart way to move forward with iOS 9, especially if this feature is being implemented in other OSs such as Android right now, and it just makes sense. Now, if you guys actually want to see all of these things that I will be showing you guys, all the tweaks, all the features that you can currently get, I'll have a full list down below in the description and even more that I won't be able to get to in this video. So make sure to click on that or right there. For the next feature, we all want Apple to include some more customization in iOS. Make it small, even just customizing the colors, the UI colors of iOS 9. That'll be enough. I mean, Apple did with iOS 8, they introduced widgets for notification menu, third-party camera filters, custom keyboards, and it was a good step in the right direction, but further enhance that, Apple. I mean, make iOS 9 just a little bit customizable. I'm not asking for anything crazy, but at least let us change the colors of certain aspects of iOS 9. Next is better text manipulation. iOS 8 is extremely limited and very uncomfortable when you want to copy, paste text, select it. You got to do it all manually, and you have these little tiny buttons that you got to drag, and it's so uncomfortable. Well, there's a current tweak that allows you to do that on a much easier scale, and stuff like this does exist on Android, but Apple is behind, and it does make sense, especially with a larger display where you got to reach all the way up and do it manually. Make text manipulation easier. Copy, paste. Selecting text on iOS 8 is just ridiculously overcomplicated. Make it easier. Next is the ability to customize the control center. We don't need all of those features that are currently on there, toggles, maybe even allow apps to be put in there. Shortcut to apps, shortcut for a different function. We don't all need the certain ones that are in there, so let us move them around. Currently, there are tweaks that do that, and it's really cool, so give us the ability to do that in iOS 9. A system-wide night mode really makes sense. Sometimes you just want to give your eyes a break, and a system-wide night mode is a really good way to do that. It makes everything darker and it basically gives your eyes a break, especially when you're laying in bed and you just want to send some last text messages. You don't want to blind yourself. That would be extremely useful in iOS 9. Home screen widgets. It's not impossible, Apple. You did it with the notifications. I don't see why Apple is so against widgets. They're useful. They provide information in a non-obtrusive manner. Just slide on your home screen and there you have widgets. Include that in iOS 9, please. I mean, please. It's been so long. Maybe this time's a charm. Next is make the size of iOS smaller when upgrading. And I know this is a lot to ask. I mean, me sitting here not knowing much about developing, this is extremely, selfish of me to ask, but you guys are doing it right with iOS 8.2. iOS 8.2 shrinks the file size of iOS 8 by around 500 megabytes, and that's amazing. If Apple could further do that in iOS 9 and make the file size just a little bit smaller, I don't ask for much, but I mean, several gigabytes for an OS is pretty ridiculous. Apple is getting sued for that too, so, make the file size smaller, it would mean a lot. Another useful feature is ultra power saving mode. Android has had it for the longest time. Basically, you can set manually when your device gets to a certain battery percentage, your device will go into survival mode. So it'll disable all wireless connections it doesn't need, maybe even drop the LTE down to 2G or 3G, pretty much save battery when you need it the most. And at the same time, I would love to have a toggle for ultra power charging. So basically it turns off the radios and it makes your device charge faster, especially when you don't need to be receiving anything. You just want to charge your device up within like 15-30 minutes, so we can see a bigger increase in battery percentage. The ability to set default apps, such as browsers. If you use Chrome on iOS and you like it better, it would be nice for every link to redirect to that one. So you can currently do that right now in Cydia. It is a tweak, and it would be nice to have that in iOS. Not only browsers, but applications too. It would just be nice to have the ability to set apps in browsers to the ones that you need. Next, let's see some adjustments to Siri. It's been a while since Apple's really done anything with Siri. I mean, they've made it a little bit smarter in iOS 8, more languages and all that, but let's give it a more human emotion, human tone. Microsoft Cortana is actually really impressive. If you guys haven't seen it, I recommend you check that out. It's almost like you're talking to a real human, and it'd be nice if Apple could make Siri a little more human and give Siri the ability to work offline. Not always do you need Siri to browse something on the internet. What if you just want to set a reminder or a calendar date for something? That would be great. Give Siri an offline function. Let's do something about iMessage and the ability to send between SMS and iMessage. Because sometimes if someone else doesn't have iMessage, my iPhone will get confused. It'll send them an iMessage, it'll say not received, and only then can I click on the little I and send it as a text message. Give us the choice to send between text message or iMessage as we choose, and please give me the ability to unsubscribe from a non-iMessage group. I'm currently stuck in one and it's painful. I cannot leave if I'm subscribed in a group where the people don't have iMessage. Please do something about that. Apple, we are so far into iOS and you still haven't given us a calculator for the iPad. Please include a calculator for the iPad in iOS 9. I don't see why it hasn't been done yet. There are so many on the App Store. Just please give us that in iOS 9. It's ridiculous. There are so many on the App Store. I don't see why Apple couldn't include it in the actual system. Group FaceTime calls would be nice. Say you want to have a meeting with several people. Now, there is the ability to do that in audio form on iOS 8, not actually in video. Give us a little grid of 4 people in iOS 9 so we can FaceTime between multiple people, not just one. Reachability. Let's do something about it. Right now, reachability is extremely limited. And with jailbreaking, I've seen so many creative uses for it. All from that one little cat, the Pop-Tart cat, to switchability, which you can switch between apps in it, to a tweak that actually improves reachability by a lot. I mean, it's actually functional, you can use it. So improved reachability, it's extremely limited right now. Something Android's had for a while is a print preview screen. Now, whenever I use printing from iOS, you pretty much get what you print. You can't actually see how it'll turn out. So I think it would be smart for Apple to include that in iOS 9. Now, something I personally don't need, but something a lot of people are asking for, is giving Apple Maps the ability to use public transport as a means of getting around. So giving you directions using buses, trains, all that, which Google Maps has. It's extremely useful out in Europe when I was traveling, and Apple Maps just doesn't have it. So that is a major limiting factor of Apple Maps. So include public transport in the next generation of iOS 9. The ability to search inside of settings would be nice. There was a concept with it a little bit ago that I saw and it stuck. There are so many toggles, so many things to go through in settings. It would make sense to give us an ability to go through it real quick with a search function. Next is improve iOS 9 security. It's not a lot to ask for. iOS 8 has seen so many lock screen bypasses. There have been at least 3 that I know of, or 4 or something like that. I mean, fix iOS 9 security. Just make it stronger, enhance the security of iOS 9. And lastly, I'd like to ask or beg Apple one thing is embrace jailbreaking. Jailbreaking has been around forever, since the very first OS. and it's not going anywhere. You guys are just making it harder and harder to create jailbreaks, but it's going to be around for a while. Why would Apple shun jailbreaking? They've taken so many features from it. It makes sense for them to allow it, because from the jailbreak, they themselves can take so many ideas, see what people like. It's like a big research project for them, and I think it's amazing that jailbreaking exists. I think Apple should say, hey, jailbreaking has been around for a while, let's just embrace it. And I don't know if that's intentional or not, but lately, jailbreaking has been out for longer. I mean, Apple isn't patching as fast as they used to, so I don't know if that's related to this at all, but, you know, embrace jailbreaking. Give people a chance to jailbreak their device, because you yourselves learned from it. And anyways, guys, that's just about it. There are so many more things that I want to say in this video, but that's 20 of the best ones. If you guys want to see more, just click right there on the annotation. It'll take you to my article with a full list of tweaks I used in this video and even more ideas people had. And that's just about it, guys. Is it too much to ask for all of this? Maybe, but at least some of these would be nice to be implemented into iOS 9. I personally, in the future, I'm going to come back to this video and I'm going to see, which one of these did Apple actually put into iOS 9? And I'm actually really curious about that. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for your input. It really means a lot to me when you guys can give me ideas as well, and, you know, tell me what you guys want. So have a great day, guys. Peace.